don't make us who we are. So I'll dream until I make it real, and all I see is.
And I'm frozen. I'm not moving. I don't know if everybody can hear me, but welcome back to another episode of Michelle and Maren. So there's my frozen face. Isn't that
Should we stop and start again? Okay, there we go. You're back.
It always has to start with something,
That's
there's always
right.
something going on.
It's probably me, Michelle. The energy around me lately is out of control.
Yes.
Like out of control.
Yes.
So
let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah. So I have been seeing orbs like so much that I'm worried about my eyesight. Like they are I'm like, literally like,
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, this is really growing. And then I'm like, oh, do I need to go to the doctor? Like it is, I see them all day, every day, like everywhere. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, oh no, you're frozen again. So I'm sorry. I think it's me.
And look at the most, I was going to say, what a lovely look. Like, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't wear this again. It's really cold down here. So I've got this sweater on. I'm like, maybe I should hide my double chin. I'm on I'm on like week 6 of low sugar. Now I'm not saying no sugar. Just no processed sugar. But I've
How's that going?
You can't really tell because I'm always up here, but I've lost 14 pounds so far.
Hey, that's
so
amazing.
Yes, it's coming. But what was I gonna say?
How's your tooth?
Oh, okay. I have a story for you. My tooth is good.
Okay,
and,
good.
I have to go back for I was saying to you a little earlier, I have surgery coming up, and that's for something else. But I do have to go back and get the last part of my tooth fixed, which is to have the crown put on and everything. But anyway, so let me just preface this by saying I have not had anything like a root canal or anything before. Okay, so I was very fortunate to have I had my first cavity at 32 years old, and it was
what?
Yes, and it was fixed
oh my gosh
by just a little bit of like stuff they put on. It was easily fixed, no big deal. And so my dental visits are like teeth cleaning, x-rays, like regular. And when I had chemo and I went through cancer, it changed the bone density, and there's a few in you. So this is what I'm saying. It couldn't be possibly sugar, but I ended up.
There's no way if your
way.
first cavity was at 32. No. I agree.
So the reason why my tooth broke was because my teeth they're not as strong as they used to be. But like I said before, I bit down on this little candy, it snapped my tooth. The reason why that happened was because I had a big cavity in my molar. And I also have another little cavity beside it, but that's really not it. What I was kind of freaking out about a little bit was when I go to the dentist and I hear them, I hear all those drills, and I'm like, thank God I am not the person with a drill in my mouth, because that gives me this little weird sensation on the back of my arms. I sometimes when I'm like standing somewhere that is really high up with height.
Oh yeah.
Certain things like something to do with bones, like crushing, but I don't know what it is, but I just get this weird sensation in my body. So when I hear those drills, I feel that. So this dental office is like, they call it the dental experience. It's a very nice dental office. It's very relaxing and a whole bit. So I go in and I was sitting in the waiting room, and I said to Eric, I'm like, okay, Eric, here's the deal. I'm like, I'm actually really nervous about having this drill in my mouth. And I watched the procedure on YouTube, see what it looked like. And my husband's like,
oh my gosh, did you really do
that? I did, because I just had to know. And he's like, why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that? You already don't like the sound. Why would you do that? I said, I just want to have a general idea of what they're doing to my tooth. Make sure I'm good with it. So I ask Eric this, and Eric says, yep, don't worry about it. I got you. You're okay. So I go in, And the girl sets me up in the chair and everything, gives me my sunglasses and my whole thing. And in walks this young man. And I say young man, like he couldn't be any older than 27, 28. And he says, "Hello, Michelle. Nice to meet you. I'm Dr. Eric. I'll be taking care of you today." And so just to tell you, this is a big clinic, and this is a Saturday morning this was done. And they're like, they rotate. There's a lot of dentists that work in here. So I had no idea. And I've never met this dentist before. So I had no idea. So when he comes in and says that, says, "I'll be taking care of you," and he gets a blanket. It's a blanket and covers me up with the blanket. If I could tell you, this was the nicest dental experience I've ever had. I fell asleep during a root canal.
What?
I fell asleep.
What?
Yes. I fell asleep and I woke myself up by snorting.
Oh my gosh. Next time I need a cavity filled or something, I'm going to drive to Canada.
Like, I am like, and I didn't have gas. Like, there was nothing. They didn't give me anything. All he did was freeze the area. But they put music on, put a screen in front of me, covered me with a blanket, and he was so good. They just put like blocks and stuff, like, so I didn't have to hold my mouth open.
Right, yeah.
So I could rest on it. And he just worked away, and I actually dozed off. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, "Thanks, Eric. Like, that was awesome."
That was amazing. He definitely sent you Dr. Eric.
Yeah, like, how funny is that? "Hi, I'm
That's
Dr.
really
Eric."
funny.
Hilarious. But anyway, so all is good, and I will be meeting with Dr. Eric again to finish it. So I thought that was pretty cute.
That is super cute.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm glad you're all fixed up and you didn't have like too traumatic of an experience. So that's great.
It was great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good.
As great as a root canal can be.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Michelle, when you zipped up your shirt, I feel like it's like snagging on your microphone because it's like I'm hearing clinking.
You know what? Elisa said that to me the other day. She said, "What's all that clinking noise?" And when I was doing a video, and we thought it was my necklace that I had on, so I took it off and it stopped. So is that better?
Yeah, whatever you did.
Weird. Okay, maybe
That
it was
is really
rubbing
good.
might have been rubbing against my
Oh,
zipper
the
or
little
something.
the zipper
I'll just keep it
dingle
zipped up
thing.
and hide my neck. Okay, so before we had our little break last weekend, we were talking about the Akashic Records, which
Yes.
is so fascinating. And so did
Yes.
you go into your class? Did you do that? What all happened?
Yes. So I had my class. It was very fascinating. When it was just so deep and like it's really interesting. And a lot of people made this comment too about how the energy felt different than doing a reading. Like I feel like with a reading, I'm more like floaty, flighty, lovey-dovey. And when I did this, I felt a lot more lower, like grounded and squished. I don't know how to explain it, but heavier and grounded and and even like this happened when it's kind of so interesting, like when I was first getting into mediumship, they said, when you close your eyes and you look into your third eye, you might get a headache, your eyes might hurt, but it's just like a new muscle and it's like warming up, and that'll go away the more you do this. And maybe like one or two times I felt that way in the beginning, but I did it for this, and my eye, like I've done 3 different meditations now for it, and every time my like eyes hurt and my head, like I get like a little headache, like it's like a new muscle or something that is being used to, do this. I don't know. It was very interesting that I had those symptoms again, that I hadn't experienced since, the very first time I started doing this. So
there's more opening up, like with all of the orbs and everything. Like there's changes that are occurring. And I know on my own journey, a lot of people will talk about the consistency of continuing to work on ourselves, work on our own healing, because the more that we do that, the more that we vibrationally shift. And so I was saying to you a little earlier, I was talking about how as human beings, we really only see 1% of the electromagnetic field. And so as we continue to open up more, we're able to see more.
Might be
And
at
what's
3%
always
now.
been here, right? Like it's always
Yeah.
been here, but we're
Yes.
able to perceive it more. And that's definitely happening to you. That's very cool.
Oh my gosh, I feel it. And even like when I first started opening up, I started meditating, and that's how I started to open up. And I remember going, oh my gosh, I'm meditating and now I have anxiety. It's supposed to be the other way around, because I was feeling all of the energy in my solar plexus chakra, and I did not know that. And it kind of calmed down. But this past week, I have had the worst like solar plexus like anxiety, and I'm not anxious. There's nothing I am anxious about. I've like known it's all spiritual. So one day there was like a semi-warm day, because they're like supposed to like walk out in the grass to like ground yourself, and and I've been doing a lot of like I will tie my root chakra to the earth's core and like try to release the energy, and all of that is helping. And so yeah, like one day it's so interesting. It's like I feeling anxious, and then I feel it like go up into my like nasal passages. Like I feel like the energy like right in here. I don't know. It's very odd. And I know it's like spirit. I'm like, I feel you. Like I feel this energy. Like it just comes on. And so I like took my blood pressure, because I was like, oh my God, I think I'm gonna like stroke out. Like this energy is just out of control.
Yeah.
And I was like we have like, it's like you're in the green, you're in the yellow, and then there's 3 different zones of red that you could be in with high blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I was in zone 2 of the red. I was like, oh my God, I feel it. I went outside. I took off, it was a semi nice day. So I took off my shoes. I went outside. I walked around for like 1 minute in the grass, breathed, did the like, let this energy come out my feet. I walked right back in, and I went down to the green.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
What a nice little physical validation too.
Yes, it was. I know. I'm like, man, there's some science here. I can like, put this, physical validation. So anyways, so the energy has like, it has picked up, and maybe it's because I did this Akashic Records class. Like I've like unlocked a new code. I don't know. Like,
I would definitely say so.
Yeah, it's wild.
So what did you like, what did you take away from it? So and just to say too, when you're talking about the energy having more of a kind of a grounded effect, what I had got from my experience was it was direct. It was like very direct. Maybe not as emotional.
Okay, yeah.
More direct. I don't know if that's kind of what you're getting at there with that. Could you explain like what kind of process, like what did they teach to do this?
Okay, so she was like, there are some teachers that are like, you have to do this process. You have to do this process. And everybody really actually kind of has their own process when they're like, you have to follow this process. But she's like, I'm more whatever works for you. So we'll try out some different processes and see what works. So we did like a short meditation, and then we did a longer meditation. And she was like, you got to see which one works for you. And so I really liked that, because just trying to see what works for you is like, that's half the battle, because we're all so different, and we all need different things to get to our meditative state. So I really liked that. And she also said it was about like, the meditation is all about finding out how to get there. And once you figured out how to get there, then you know how to get there, and you can get there every time. And the more you go that way, the faster and easier it is to get to the records that way. So I thought that was really interesting. And she said that the records are, while they might look like a library for one person, they might look like a temple for another person, and they might look like some like nature scene for another person.
Right.
So, and we had that variation in our group. We had someone that was like, this looks just like a library, and another person that was like, I was like by a teepee and, you know,
Right.
in the woods. And
that makes a
so
lot of sense, because like anything else, it's a consciousness, right? It's consciousness.
yeah,
So we're tapping into a consciousness, and just like a spirit will show themselves to somebody. So, you know, if we think about, one person says that they saw Jesus, and one person saw him in jeans and a t-shirt with a pair of flip-flops. Another person saw him in a white robe. Like, there's not really one way, because our experience is based from our beliefs. And
yeah,
our beliefs are not all our conscious beliefs, but our subconscious as
yeah,
well. So each person's having what resonates with them for multiple different reasons. I mean, some of this could be part of our soul into other lifetimes, built from a whole structure. But I think it's really great that that was shared, with having different ways of experiencing it. Because, like, when I talked about my experience of being in the library, that's my experience. That's how
mm-hmm,
I saw it. But, you know, somebody else, like you said, with a teepee or sitting outside in nature, and that
mm-hmm,
makes it not wrong. That makes it exactly perfectly right for each person.
yeah. And that makes sense too, because I know when I was talking to you before and I tried to do an Akashic Records meditation, and you know, like it just didn't like jive with me. Like it was like there's this golden door, and I like
Yeah.
busted through the golden door, and I'm like, I'm here. And then they're like, now look at it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not, you know. So it was really cool to just get like what went with you. What I thought was really interesting. So you one of the main things though, she's like, I want you to picture a building, and whatever kind of building this is, it's a building. And then the one student was like, well, mine's a teepee, but it's like, that's fine. It's a building, like
Yeah.
the structure. And like, that is like, you just kind of want to visualize that. But then however it appears, however that structure appears to you, and whatever it looks like inside is 100% fine. But
Right.
she did want us to focus on this building. But for me, I never really saw the outside of it. I always saw my path traveling to it. Like I kind of felt like I was traveling on like a funny to say, some water.
Yeah.
I was like kind of like in a tunnel, like on like a water headed to it. And but then inside I saw it, and it looked to me more like a church library. Like it was very tall ceilings and very white and open like a church. Um, and so that was really interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
But the other thing too was like, should you see a book? And every time I saw a book, and there were people who had all different experiences with the book and what the book looked like and how the words appeared on the page. And some person even said that there was like that she tried to read it and it like kind of like melted on her, like just the book would do different things.
Yeah.
And for me, every time I would see the book, but someone would come up next to the book before I ever opened the book and would tell me what I was asking.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. I don't know if anybody had, they said there would be a being with us,
Yeah.
um, helping us, but I didn't realize that my being would be telling it. And I thought that was really interesting too, because I didn't know that like each meditation, a being comes and like assists you. And when I did the meditation, the first time before the class and before we talked, there was this girl that ran out to me, remember? And she like handed me a rolled up piece of paper before I left. And so I feel like, oh, maybe that was the being that was supposed to meet me. And I just didn't even, know that part at that point.
Yeah.
So, and they've
It's
all
so
been
fascinating.
women too, which is really interesting for
Yeah.
me. So,
Is it, you're saying that, I remember so clearly that book being slammed shut on me when I tried to get a closer look at it. And
yeah.
it slammed shut, and I was able to just read the name, and was just like starting to get into it, like what does this mean? And I remember looking
Yeah.
at it like I wanted to remember it so I could bring it back with me. And
Yeah.
the book just,
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah. It was
And
really cool.
we'll get a little more into that because I think that that's a lot of fun to explore. And I really like when you were talking about uh the methods of going in and using that method again. Like there's reasons why we all do this, and we don't have to do that. Like and Erica said, we don't have to have these, processes. We don't have to. But the thing is these processes help us to get there because they
Yes.
create, and I can't remember if you said this now or at another time, but they create pathways,
Yes.
right? So it
Yeah.
vibrationally, it makes sense because think about if a kid walking home from school. Well, when that kid is told, all right, so your school is 3 blocks away from your home and you're going to walk in this direction. Well, that kid has to kind of find out which way, which way am I going to go to eventually get to the school? But the more that
Yeah.
happens every day, you discover the shortcuts.
Yeah.
You start to wear down that path and it makes it much easier. And instead of that hour and 15 minutes it took you to get there, you get there in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Because you do it over and over again. So there's benefit to that. There's reasons why.
Benefit to the structure. Yeah.
As you grow with it, as you get more accustomed, it's a thought. It is the intention, because that's really what it is. It's the intention of connecting with that consciousness, the intention of connecting with that spirit, the intention of connecting with, doing that healing. And so these processes are there to help us get from point A to point B. And all the steps in between are there to help bridge. So I think it's really amazing just how they kind of explain that and really validated that your teacher validated the different ways and how everything is valid. But your
Yes.
experiences, I love that.
Well, because it's so easy too, especially if it's an experience you've never done, to be like, is this supposed to happen? Like, is this, the first time I did it, I saw this woman and I saw her like a second before she said, and now there will be a being there to greet you. And I saw this woman and she was, like, perfectly dressed, like very polished. And she looked like a mix between like a librarian and like a congresswoman. Like she was of this century, like this decade, like, she was very relevant, I guess, which I would just imagine, like, I don't know if I'm going to like the Grand Library of Akashic Records, I would see this like very old ancient person or like, someone in robes or something. And I did not see that. I saw like a businesswoman librarian.
Yeah.
And
so cool.
yeah, and like I had a half second, like, that can't be right. But then I'm like, well, no, a being is a being. So I'm just gonna like let this flow, and kept going with it. So yeah, it is like whatever you gotta just kind of roll with it, and no idea what your experience is gonna be.
Absolutely.
And like that goes to show, like, I definitely didn't make it up, because if I was gonna make it up, it would have been some ancient old person, not this like very relevant.
Right, exactly. That's the importance of just allowing whatever comes.
Yeah.
Don't judge it. Allow whatever comes and go with it, because whatever comes to you is going to be right for you. As long as it feels good, it's good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And so the other thing too, your dreams have been really, really vivid too.
My dreams have been so vivid, like unbelievably vivid. It is like, well, okay, so there was like, what was that, last week, where I talked about like we had the transition. I witnessed a transition.
Yes.
And then
That's right.
and then this one was crazy. So I had a friend who had some health issues. And so I said to the angels and my guides and everybody involved in my dreams, I said, please show me the way to heal my friend in my dream. Like, please let me figure this out. Like, show me anything I need to do to like pass on messages for my friend. And I had the most vivid dream. It was unbelievable. I was in like crystal clear blue water, and there was like this energy source at the bottom of the water. And we had to swim up from the energy source to the top of the water. And so I'm watching like everybody swim up, and then it's like my turn to swim up, and I get tousled around like, and like it was even like I had this one point where like I was like, oh, I think I can still go up. And then I was like, no, I am like every which way right now.
Yeah.
Like I am lost in the water.
Yeah.
And I just felt someone pull me up. And so that was my first try.
Yeah.
And then I was back at the bottom again, and I swam up to the top, and I finally got up to the top, and it was like a long way. And I get to the top, and I like want to just like bust out of the water because I've like had to hold my breath and, you know, and swim a long ways to the top. But I get to the top, and there's ice on the top of the water, and there's just small cracks between the ice. So you just have to like put your head up like this and breathe. And so you're just like, and then you have to go down and do it again, and then swim up and like and breathe. And I had to do that like I did it like 3 or 4 times. And then finally I just said, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, that is really hard. I don't want to do this. And I stopped doing it. And, but I remembered that dream so vividly. And yeah. And so then I asked Eric, like, what was that dream about? And he said it was about breath work and creating energy.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
And it was about creating energy through breath work.
Yes.
And then like I even saw something pull up on my Instagram that day about like, and it even had the ball was the picture, and it was about oh my gosh, I'm not going to say it right, like qi gong or like what is like the breath,
I know what you mean,
Chinese breath work thing.
I know I don't know if it's
I can't think of it.
I'll say it wrong too, but I know what you're talking about. I'm sure most people know what we're talking about.
I know.
Hopefully.
Yeah. Anyways, so I was like, oh my gosh, like that makes so much sense. And so I go to my friend and I say, hey, like, I'm pretty sure this dream was about you, because I said, show me in my dreams how to heal you. And then I had the most vivid dream ever where I said, I know you're going through so much. Part of me felt like it also had to be like, do like an empathetic part. Like, he's struggled with this for so long and you just want to give up. Like, I'd get halfway through and I would want to give up, or I'd want to like break through the ice, but you couldn't. You just had to tip your head and breathe. And like, so part of me, I just have so much empathy for you, because I feel like it's like a metaphor for how much you're struggling and how strong you are mentally through all of this. But the other thing is, like, I think that you really need to work on breath work, and you need to work on healing through breath work. And he goes, well, you know, what's really interesting is that that dream really reminds me of I'm going to say this wrong too, the Wim Hof method. Have you heard about him? Where he's like they call him like the Iceman, where he works on breath work through the cold. And I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. He goes, I just started it last week. And and I was like, oh my goodness. Well, I think that you need to keep that up. And I think that he also, while he does the cold training, I'm pretty sure they do like those breathwork exercises in the snow. That it's a lot like.
I've been watching it. You know, it's so weird that you're saying that, because, well, it's not weird, but I keep getting pop-ups, and like, I know that, you know, our internet listens to us and that sort of thing too, but just in the weirdest places. Like, even walking into this store, there was like this ad for one of those ice bath buckets, you know, to do that, because my husband and I have talked about that as something we would like to do, and we've been using like the cold shower method, the shots of cold water and stuff like that. But, so that just kind of fits right along with what I've been getting messages for, because
Yeah.
it's really got, like, if anybody does not know what the Wim Hof method is, Google it, look it up on
Yeah.
YouTube. It's very
Yeah.
interesting. It's got a lot of science with it too.
Yes. If you're a Netflix subscriber, the Goop series from Gwyneth Paltrow, she like explores
Yes.
different
Yeah.
healing modalities, and
Yeah.
they did like a Wim Hof training with him. So
That's
that like really,
that's a good show that she does. I really like
yeah,
that one. Yeah.
I really like it too.
Yeah.
So you could check him out there as well. And then you don't have to worry about spelling his name because
Yeah.
could not tell you.
That's right. That's right. We're not here for a spelling test, folks. We're not here for pronunciation.
That's right.
Just here to teach the energy, share the energy.
That's right. We speak in energy.
We speak energy. I speak empath.
Oh, yes, that's right. So yeah, so my dreams have gone, yeah. So I definitely think I'm going through another awakening because my dreams are just crazy. So, and then I had another, so then I'm, meditating and I say, Eric, what messages do you have for me? This was this week. And he was in a wetsuit and he spanked his butt and jumped in. And I was like, okay, I have no idea what that means. And then that night I had the craziest dream. I was walking through water with this, I know it was a male, I don't know who it was. Walking through this, and it sparkled. It was like sparkly water. Walking through the water with this male, and it was like you opened a door and then you walked through, like the whole room was filled with water. And so you walked through the water, and then I went out the other side, and then there was another door, and I was like, oh, I don't want it to be another water room. I don't know. I'm not like a huge water fan. Maybe I have like PTSD from my last dream, my Wim Hof dream. But I opened up the next door, and like the water was like not conforming to like gravity. Like it was like moving and flowing, and I was just standing there, and it was like moving and flowing in front of me. And like it was talking to me and I was talking to it. And I don't, of course, remember what I was saying, but I just remember thinking, I am talking to water right now. Like, what is going on? And then like it would kind of like come up high and I'd be like, don't splash me. Like, and and then I was like, oh, I woke up and I was like, well, now I know why Eric was wearing a wetsuit. He was teasing me for what was about to come that night.
Yeah.
So
isn't that funny?
Just wildness.
And the healing, like, because water is a metaphor, and it's such a conduit for healing, because in our in our physical reality, we use water for cleansing, and think about all the spiritual context there is to water, like healing waters, baptism, like
well, and as you're saying that too, like the door, like I have seen, so I cross a lot of spirits and like I see them go through doors. Like that is like the light portal. It'll be like a door with a bright on that side of the door is very bright. And so that's really interesting that I opened a door. And then there was water. So
no, it's definitely a lot of your healing abilities, your experiences through other realms, you're learning, you're teaching, and you're experiencing from your perspective, from others' perspective, but it's all this information, and remembering it allows you to bring that back and integrate it and learn from it. And what does that mean? And it's helping you and it's helping others, which is really what this is all about. Helps us and helps others. There's something else I was going to ask you about that. It slipped my mind. Maybe
it'll come back.
Welcome to my life. Who am I? What am I doing here? Who are you? No, I know that's like me half the time, but I think what we should do, and what do you think about maybe having a contest or something, contest, but like having like a somebody, if we have like a say a like and a subscribe on the channel or something, and we'll draw names out of a hat and choose somebody who would like to have their Akashic record read.
Yes, I would love that.
That would be fun. And of course, by participating, you have to be okay with sharing it publicly, you
Yeah.
know, and the intention set that whatever comes forward would be appropriate
Yes.
for that to be shared
Yes.
publicly. So what do you think?
So I love that.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, if you're going to do that. So they say you have to have, well, at least that's what we did, is like a
Permission.
question.
Oh,
Well, you have to
question.
permission,
Yes.
but you have to have like a question. So the
Yes.
reason why you would go to the Akashic Records
Yes.
Is because you've got like some kind of like pattern or habit or fear or something that's always just not working out right in this life, and you're trying to figure out why that's happening in this life. So the Akashic Records is not like I want to speak to my mom
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and hear what she has to say. It's not that. It's not even like prediction of future, like, you know, will I get the big raise or whatever.
Right.
It is, I am struggling with this very specific piece of something in my life, and I can't move past that.
Yes.
And if I can find out why that is happening,
Yes.
then maybe I can move past that.
Yes.
And so that is what the Akashic Record is for.
Perfect. That's thank you for explaining that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. So if you would like to participate in this, what we should do is let's leave this. We'll do this over this next week. So starting at our posting time,
Okay.
and meaning we don't have to do the whole reading, but to select somebody. And then don't put your questions down in the comments. What we'll do is for this, we ask that you like and that you're subscribed to the channel, and we will pick by random. So everybody that's got a like and subscribe, should we add a share to that, or is that too much?
Oh my God, I don't even know what share means.
Sharing the video.
Oh,
Share the video somewhere. But you know, it's okay. If you like and subscribe, that's perfect. But put your name down in the comments. And if you don't want to comment anything, put a heart beside your name that you want to be part of this. And what Maren and I will do when we reconvene our next time is we will put all the names that want to be participating in it, and we'll draw at random which name. And if you win, then we'll contact you, and you know, we'll send a message to you, and you can email one of us what your question is, and then Maren and I will work out how we're going to do that, and we'll post it to share, because I think it's a lot of fun exploring these different ways that we're able to retrieve information. And remember, the intention is like, yes, it's fun, but it's helpful. It's here to help us move past something. It's to help us grow. It's to expand, to watch ourselves do things in our life that we never thought possible. And we've got all these tools available to us. Garrick always shows me the tool belt. Which tool? What tool do I want to use? And he always tells me, you're the tool.
Oh, that is so true.
You know, so, but, you know, these are all really amazing things that each one of us has the capability to tap into. So thank you guys for participating and sharing. And I think this is a lot of fun. And I would love to do more interactive stuff, you know. So
yeah.
Maren and I have so many ideas, and of course, check out on Instagram too. On Maren's, what's your Instagram? Share with everybody.
Making of a Medium.
So make sure that you're following Maren, and then the _healing heart. is mine on Instagram. Make sure you're following there too. And yeah, you can see Maren's been putting up little clips. If you're watching this from that clip, thank you. Hello. Make sure you subscribe. And yeah, I guess that's it for today.
That's it. It's good.
Okay, well, have an awesome day. Bye, everybody. Thanks for sharing again. And
Thank you
we
for
will see
listening.
you next time.
Yeah.